Okay, here's my wire. See, I got it out of there. And I've got to fish it all the way over, boom, 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 boom. But I want to talk about this cover plate, this blank plate. See, I got a 2-gang cover plate because I cut my inspection hole big enough. I can't get a single one in there, and that's okay. And so, see, I'm just going to screw this up to the ceiling. And I was thinking, see, I could have drilled a hole in the middle of it, you know, a little bit bigger than the coaxial cable, and put it out in the middle. Put the cover plate on right now, let it slide up in there. I could do that, but another thing I could do is I could just push this over off to the side, couldn't I? And cut just a slight little notch in the end of the sheetrock right there. And then when I put my cover plate on, I can just barely cover that over there. And this would in fact be coming out between the edge of the cover plate and the sheetrock wall. And then I can just caulk around it and make it all look nice and pretty, and it be up nice and tight up to the ceiling. So I can do it that way too. And I just put some plastic anchors in here, the screw-in anchors or anything like that. I don't need to put that cut-in little telephone box up there. That's almost $4. I don't need that. I just need a couple plastic anchors and screw this baby in. So either way will work, okay? All right, keep it going. Now you know. Okay, I figure I might as well tell you this too. Because this is one full length that goes all the way up where we want it and all the way down over to here, what I'm going to do too is after I pull this out through there, I'm going to pull some extra down the wall so I got a little extra play there in case somebody ever wants to open up that box and, let's say, cut the coaxial cable and put a splitter in there. They've got some extra to play with, you know what I mean? That's how they usually do it on all their areas. So I'm going to do that at that box, and then when I do this cut-in box up here, I'm going to do the same thing. When I get down there, just because it's just going to be a raceway to go down to here, I'm gonna leave a little extra, and then when it comes out here, you know, before he makes his connections, he'll make his connections long, and then he can throw them back in the wall. Because see, all of this stuff, believe it or not, all of this right here was just crammed up inside the wall cavity, and then there was a blank plate on there, okay? That's what you do when you're running coaxial cables on your own. Always make sure you've got extra at your junction boxes or your wall terminations. Good grief, Charlie Brown, my battery's flashing at me, but I'm gonna keep running videos until this goes dead. I've got to get Momi to bring my other battery here. Now I'm gonna put a cut-in box up here, because see, this coaxial cable is gonna come around from over here way up high. So I want that coaxial cable up high, and then I want it to drop down. But then I want to put the box up in here somewhere, and I'm hoping there's not any fire blocks in here. And usually, I was taught when I did construction years ago that there's fire blocks. If you got an 8-foot tall, anything higher than 8 feet, you got to have a fire block in there, and especially on an exterior wall. I don't know if this one's got one or not. I used my tape measure and pushed it up through that hole, but I don't really like doing that. I only got up about 2 feet, and I thought I better stop because I was hitting something and there's a clump of wires in there and stuff. And as I was pulling my tape measure back down, it got stuck, and I thought, oh no. This is why you're not supposed to push your tape measure up walls, because if you get it stuck and if you can't get it out, you just ruined your tape measure. You got to cut it to get it out or jerk on it, and then you've messed up the tip. Well, I had my my fish tape. I call this an electrical fish tape, and you unwind it like this. But see, it comes out in a bowed angle, and I pushed that up there, and I thought I hit a fire block up about shy of 3 feet. But I think that was just hitting maybe a clump of wires, and it was pushing the wire over. So I don't think it was going up all the way. So I thought, you know, I've got my extension bits here for my flexi bits, and I already hooked up 2 of them together, and I pushed that, see, I can take it and bend it to see if I hit anything. And then I can mark it and bring it back down. But see, look at that. It's going up virtually almost all the way. No fire block. I want to check and see if there's a fire block up any higher. So I happen to have an extra extension, and I've not ever used this before. And I just got it in case I need to go up in a wall higher than 3 or 4 feet like these other 2 extension bits gives me. Okay, so I'm gonna have to come on. I'm having a hard time pulling the little goodie back and sliding this in at the same time. Oh, there we go. Okay, so see, now I got 3 extensions on there. I've got a good 7 feet. Now these other 2 that come in the package, you get one, let's see, let me measure that. 16, 18 inches long and about 3 feet long. And that's what you get in that little 4-pack with the drill bit and that other goodie. Okay, now see, I think I can get this up there because it's flexible. Okay, I want to go up there because I want to put the fire block, or I want to put the cut-in box up in here somewhere. In fact, I could put it way up high, couldn't I? I could put it way up high if there's no fire block in here. So let's just see. I've got 7 feet here, and let me hold this up here. I'm going to hold this up to the bottom. Look at that. I can push that all the way, and I know I'll be hitting that top plate. If I can push that in and have about a foot of this left. And so let's just see if there's a fire block in there. Ah, there should be, man. Why isn't there? And if there's not, good for me. But then I'm wondering, how come the inspector let them get by without putting the fire blocks? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I'm hitting the top plate. No fire blocks in that wall. And that's a good way to check it if you've got that flexi bit. You know? I didn't want to cut my box way up there and then find out I had a fire block. If I had a fire block in there, then I could take my flexi bit with my drill bit, push it up in there, right? I could have done that. Then I would cut the box way up here, let's say, okay? And then if there's a fire block in there, take 1 or 2 of these flexi bits, drill holes up, push it up to the fire block, drill a hole through the fire block, keep pushing it up, and then put the other extension on there. Keep pushing it up, and then fish it out of the hole up there. Okay, and then take the Romex, the coaxial cable, and just tape it onto there and use that for a pull wire. Well, would you looky there? There's that blank plate. I screwed that back on there, and I used one of those the 2-gang rings. Okay, like this. Put that on there with the blank plate, and see how the coaxial cable's coming up through the floor. I pushed the carpet back down in there. Look at that. It almost looks like I didn't even hardly drill a hole, and I hardly made a mess at all, huh? That's because I pulled it out and pushed on it, and I had to work on it a little bit before I put my drill bit down there, because I ended up putting that 3/4 inch twist drill bit down there, right there. And I've just got this strung around. I pushed a little bit of extra down in there, strung it out around here, and then I'll have the cable guy. He's coming tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Mommy called him up, and they said between 9 and 10. So I'll have him put a splitter on right here and get it all working. One for the computer, one for the TV. And he's got plenty of extra. He's going to take this with him, I'm sure. And then I'll have him off of the splitter give me 2 feeders, you know, one 7-8 feet long, one about 15-20 feet long, so it'll go all the way back in there in case we ever want to have the desk in there, the computer in that closet, let's say. Okay, and I'm gonna end up pushing this down tight between the carpet and the baseboard and stuff. But I want to talk to the coaxial, the cable guy first, and make sure that it's okay. See this stuff here? I want to make sure it's okay that I can bend it that tight, you know, around corners and stuff in the baseboard without damaging all the wires inside. There's a wire for TV, there's a wire for the internet, there's some wires for phone. You know what I mean? Because I can feel right there that it's really bent that. So before I start bending things like that, I want to ask the cable guy if that's okay to do. Because if not, I may have to have just bends, you know, kind of like that. You see what I mean? The difference? Something like that as opposed to that. So I'll check with him first before I do anything. And you probably want to see what the garage looks like after I put those cover plates on. I've got this all nicely vacuumed and got it kind of ready for the cable guy. I wanted to come back here. I had to go with Mommy on a little errand, but I wanted to come back here and get that all straightened out. I don't like to do things in a big old rush in the morning and stuff. And so let's take a look at how I finalized everything up here. Let's see, right there. So I put that cover plate, that blank plate, and then I had the wire coming out of the end, and I cut the sheetrock back kind of at an angle coming out of there, and I overlapped the blank plate. And I don't have one of those telephone mud rings around that. I cut the hole small enough so that I could still put some little plastic anchors in the ceiling. I got plastic anchors underneath those screws on both sides, and everything's covered. And see, I just put a blank plate on that one. I didn't have to put that mud ring, that telephone mud ring on there. I just put plastic anchors in the wall. That saved me. That mud ring for the bottom one was $1.75. The top one was almost $4. Okay, so there's a way to put those on without using those mud rings. And see, before I put that blank plate, that 2-gang blank plate up there, I pushed some extra in there before I pulled it out. You know, so there's a big wad up there in that ceiling cavity, just in case somebody wants to maybe split it off from there and run it somewhere else later on. I just thought I would be nice. I mean, we're never going to do it, but maybe the next person who buys this condo years down the road. And see, I just taped it. I taped it up there just to hold it in place. And when the cable guy comes out here, he's going to have some little screw-in clamps that he's going to attach to the ceiling and to the back wall, make that nice and pretty. And then it comes over here, and then I put that plate. See, there's that other plate I got right there. And that one I have in a cut-in, one of those orange little single-gang cut-in boxes, and then I screwed the cover plate on that. And that's a different way how you can do it. See how with that bigger hole, let's come on, not much light in here. With the bigger hole around there, I can angle that coaxial cable in there, and then bend it tight to the wall, and then I'll go ahead and caulk that hole, you know, when he's done putting his clamps up there and stuff. And then I fished it down the wall, you know, from there down to here. And before that, I left a little wad of extra coaxial cable up in there, okay, just in case somebody wants to add on to it later or something. And then I ran plenty plenty down here. Here's my cable. Here's my new cable coming out there. So he's going to terminate that. And then I've got a, I got a blank plate somewhere. I'm not sure where it is. It's, I've got an extra plate, and then I'll put a double 2-gang blank plate on there when he gets all done with everything. Okay? And then that will satisfy everything. I'll have a plate like that one, and I'll put that right there. Had the guy last time he was here, had he have given me those little clamps, I would have put those on and made that all nice and pretty. But see, I had to really think how to route that in one entire piece, so that everything fit nicely. And he'll get that up tight, and then I'll have a nice straight line along there, and then have it go up into that, and then it comes down here. I think that turned out really, actually pretty good. All right, enough of that. I guess it's time to go home. Thanks for joining me.